Hello, welcome to the Simpsons Tapped Out. Why don't I bring you across to my little smiling face? I shall smile for you. There I am. Hello. And greetings! Welcome to The Simpsons Tapped Out Live. It is Saturday night, and if you are here joining me for the live stream, thank you so much. And if you are watching the recorded version on YouTube, then where the hell are you? I mean, come on, seriously. I mean, I'm ready. I'm here. I've got my drink. I've got my face. I've got my iPad. I've got my chocolate. Yes, I know. Nothing you can do. I have it right here already. And you're not here. If you're watching the YouTube recorded version, you know, we're all here. The gang's all here. You can see them in the chat here. They wish you were here. And guys, what I'd like you to do is, could you just give me a sad face to just show me how sad you are that there are some people, according to the YouTube statistics, there are actually going to be over 1,000 people that are going to watch the recorded version of this rather than joining us live. So if we could have some sad face just to make them feel just a little bit guilty that they couldn't join us here for tonight's show. Anyway, regardless of whether you are here live or whether you are watching on YouTube, a hearty welcome, a hearty welcome to the Fat Cell with me, the Adipose, and of course it's Simpsons Tapped Out night, and we are going to be doing a spot of city design. But unless you have been sleeping under a Simpsons Tapped Out shaped rock, you should, of course, be aware that we have, and here come the sad faces. I like these sad faces. These are good. You should, of course, be aware that the new level is out in Simpsons Tapped Out, which is always quite exciting to get a bit of new stuff. I don't know what everyone thinks in the chat. You're welcome after you finished giving me lots of sad faces. Perhaps you can tell me what you think of the new level update. But it seems pretty cool. It's level 38. It's a few. We've got a courthouse. I'm nowhere near getting mine yet because I'm. Scrolling. Stop! It's a courthouse and a judge, which is quite cool. We haven't had a courthouse before, and a judge-type character is definitely a role that hasn't been fulfilled yet. We've got a new grocery store, which I haven't bought yet because I have been looking at what we will be looking at tonight. But it's something a little bit different, which is quite cool. And the plot line itself that seems to be going on. I'm only a few bits into it, but it seems to be some sort of kind of conspiracy blog-orientated type thing, which is something a little bit different as well, which is quite cool. Obviously, there's a few new kind of decorations, and the decorations actually, I think, are pretty awesome because they fit really, really nicely into what we're going to be looking at tonight, which is, of course, the Squidport, as you should know, because we were chatting about that last week, and I've put it up on Tapped Out UK and Tapped Out Forum, the usual places. I have made it known that tonight is Squidport night, and I guess EA must have been listening because they went, "Hey, Adipose, I hear you're doing the Squidport. Here is a boat. Here is another boat. Allow us to boat you in some way." And the Blue-Haired Lawyer. And Blue-Haired Lawyer, I think, is actually quite a cool character. I haven't bought him yet, but I am, that thing when you kind of drum with your fingers and you're kind of going, I might do that. I might do that. Casual Snakes, the reason why you can't see me in the game... That's a good question. You should be able to see me in the game because that's where I am. Let me see what I can do. How professional of me. Okay, basically what you're about to see now is the top of my head, and then you're going to see a big error on the screen. There's the big error and the top of my head. And now what's going to happen now is that my HD PVR is going to reconnect to my PC. It's going to have a little think. It's going to go, nope, this is completely broken. It'll never work. And all of a sudden it goes... And all of a sudden you'll see what I was actually looking at there. So that basically means for the last 2 minutes I've been chatting about the game and you haven't been able to see it. You've just been able to see my desktop, which is awkward. Eureka! Spectacularness! There we are. These were the things I was chatting about. But I don't know about you, but it's kind of weird to see everything in green, isn't it? Like, don't you think? I was kind of getting used to the white and kind of just assumed that I was, kind of playing the Simpsons version of Skyrim. And just all my characters from now on were kind of talking Norse to each other. I've been to the Simpsons house. Have you been there? Type stuff. But no, and it makes the Christmas decorations look thoroughly ridiculous, like all of these burning barrels on grass. is silly. It looks very, very silly. So I'm going to have to go through and basically redesign everything. You've ruined everything. I'm going to make a conscious effort not to facepalm this week because apparently I facepalmed last week and Wookie thought it was the one of the best experiences of his life, including the day he was children were born and his marriage and all that kind of stuff. And he's posted it up on various places around the forums. In fact, I do need to thank him for that because there was for the first time there was a post up on Tapped Out Addicts. Promoting me the adipose, so thank you so much, Tapped Out Addicts, and I do try and mention you guys most weeks, so a hearty thank you and a return plug your way. Lovely little blog site, along of course with the other ones that I enjoy going to, such as Topics and tappedout.co.uk and the other places which I go, which I have forgotten momentarily, but if I remember later in the stream, I will mention it. But yes, we are going to be looking at the Squidport today. Let's see what you guys are saying. Matthias is saying that he is very sexy. Addy, Ice Root is saying, Addy, take down your lights. Take down my lights. Is that like a euphemism? I don't know what he's saying. Kex K Mercs is saying he can't see the game. Hopefully he can now. Here we are, game. Yes, I agree that this. Yeah, it's ruined my ice skate rink. My ice rink. My ice skating rink was lovely with loads of people skating on it, and now it's just a kind of a lake with a nuclear fish in it. And my poor snowmen are now just a big kind of pile of sludge. And what else? Santa's little village just looks silly in a park, and all of this kind of stuff over here is just all kinds of wrong. It's all kinds of wrong. So I'm going to need to go through there, but that's fine because I think I don't know if I mentioned to you guys on this stream or something else. But I think this is going to be like my seasonal area. Did I mention this? I can't remember. I'm going to tell you again because I don't care if you've heard it before. Trademark of someone that's getting old, by the way. Yeah, I've kind of decided I'm going to make this area of my city my like seasonal thing. You know, kind of like the aisle in a supermarket. You know, they always have the aisle that's like, you know, the bacon aisle, and then there's like the chicken aisle, and then there's like the vegetable aisle, and then there's like seasonal. And seasonal changes into like Christmas trees and Easter eggs and harvest stuff and Halloween stuff. It just depends. So this is going to be my seasonal bit that I think will be the bit that we kind of redecorate quite a few times as the months, the years, and the decades go on. So it'll kind of be constantly changing as the mood takes us. Because I'm not sure I really need a big metal Christmas tree in my city in January or indeed February. But reindeer, man, if only I had that zoo. If only. If only I had a zoo. Oh dear, Kay is asking about adipose. No, adipose is better. I'm glad you said that. I'm going to get Addy because you're right. Addy needs reassurance. Ha! There we are. He's back. He really didn't want to stand up. And I'm sure at some point he'll fall over backwards again. But there you are. Now next time you get bored during the stream, you can just look over my shoulder and go, look! A small little fat creature from Doctor Who. Right. Okay, let's get started with some Simpsons stuff. Don't you think it's good when I've been chatting for 10 minutes and then I say something like, hey, let's get started? That normally is a little hint that I've been chatting about rubbish for too long. But I kind of like chatting about rubbish. It's kind of fun. It's entertaining. It's all good. Addy is not drunk. Addy is just, fun. He's fallen over. I'm not sure. Where did that? I'm gonna have to watch the video back and see what point he fell over there. But I don't know. I'll rescue. He's having a little. He's having a nap. He's having a nap. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Okay, now I want to show you guys before we get on to looking at the Squidport, which is what I said. Which is what I said we'd be looking at today. I want to have a quick recap from last week, because if you remember, we were talking about residential areas last week. We were talking about how to make them look cool, what makes a good one, looking at some great decorations, looked at some wonderful designs from you guys and across all the various forums. And And I said if anyone kind of does some stuff during the week, especially with these two-sided designs. If you remember, I kind of faked some. I kind of showed you guys last week, and you may have seen it before, that if you kind of put trees behind the houses, you can see that if you put the trees behind the back doors of the houses, you can make them look like front doors or back doors, and so it kind of looks like you've got two houses facing each other, even though you haven't. So what we're going to be doing is there's a couple of people that have done a similar thing, so we're going to go over and check out their little cities and have a little look. Now, the first person we're going to go and check out is Waylon Coet, who I believe is actually in the chat with us today. I think I saw him chatting earlier. I'm sure I saw him, but now I can't see it. Waylon, where are you? Waylon. Yeah, there he is. Waylon is here. Hello, Waylon. I assume he's still here. I must admit, I was quite disappointed because the first time I saw Waylon's name, I got very over enthusiastic. So I was like, oh my god, this guy's name is Waylon Chocolate. He's actually put one of my favourite things in his name, and that's like me calling myself, adipose kebab or something like that. It's just like, give your name and then put the favourite thing to kind of together with it there. And but then I read his name a bit closer, and it turns out his name is Waylon Choate. I don't really know what that is, what choate is, but I'm sure it's very, very important. But we're going to head over to his house because I want to show you his residential area. He's got one of these kind of like little facing residential areas that we were kind of talking about. PG Tip says, I got braces a couple of days ago, so I can barely talk or eat. Okay, thank you for sharing. Hannah says, ha 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 ha. Okay. Tahito says he's camera shy. M's talking about some sort of tea or something like that. And I didn't give him any meds. It's not meds. He's just, I don't know. He's probably had some Lucozade or something and just OD'd just a little. Right. So let's head over here. Thank you to Waylon for me showing his stuff, and I think this is good. And I think you guys are going to like this. Have a look. What do you think? We've got there. I'll do the lead-in. I like doing little lead-ins. So here we go. We come over here, we go into this little kind of park area, we buy some peanuts, we have a little lounge about, maybe catch malaria, then we come over here, we park our car, we go through the archway, and then into the street. And lo, it is now a two-sided street with houses on both sides of the road. We have the White House, a version of a White House here with a White House over it, and he's actually placed his trees far better than I did, actually. He must have spent a long time going, no, there, no, there, oh, no, there, type thing, because he's got them right over those back doors, so you can't see them. And he's done the same with the brown house here, covered it up very nicely. Hasn't quite got the blue house quite so well, but it is really hard to line up those trees, and in some cases probably impossible. But I think that illusion, and it is an illusion, works really, really nicely. I think that looks like a two-sided street. I think you could make a big row of them. I mean, he's kind of gone for just a small bit because he's got loads of stuff in his city. It's an excellent city. But I think you could make a big row of them, and it would just work really, really nicely. So I applaud. I applaud the implementation of the design. I hope it kind of, again, continues to give you guys some kind of ideas for what you can do with residential areas to kind of, to stop them kind of looking like everyone else's, really, or, to have something a bit kind of unique and different. So I hope you kind of like that. Let me go back to my selection, because I'm just going to show you one more before we go on the Squidport, and this is from the Mitch Queen, Laura, who's always on tap.co.uk, and she was one of our winners of our competition a bit back, and Ice Rooster seems to be flooding the chat. We are gathered here today to remember the strange creature who always stands behind the man with the headphones. The strange creature had... Oh, sorry, this is a eulogy. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to remember the strange creature who always stands behind the man with the headphones. This strange creature had to go under a serious operation from Nurse Clary Pose after the man who has a restraint order from Chocolate sat on him. I didn't sit on him. I kind of bellied him, if anything. And since then, he has been going weaker and weaker until he just lost his balance and fell backwards. He's just having a nap. His owner doesn't even love him enough to pick him up and bury him. I've already been over there once, and the headphones don't reach that far. And I'll do that. I'll kind of reenact that scene from my fat Greek wedding. If I kind of move over there, I'll suddenly get sucked backwards this way. It's not rest in peace. He's not dead. He is not dead. He is not dead. He is only sleeping. There we go. Religious reference in The Simpsons Tapped Out. You didn't think that would happen, did you? Did you? Okay, now, Laura has been quite directly inspired, more than I was expecting, by my live stream, in so much as what she's essentially done is watched my live stream and gone, I will take that design and I will not just be inspired by it, but I will just take that design full stop. And she just gone plonk, because if you remember last time we put a few houses opposite each other with brown fences, and then we put a little cul-de-sac at the end with various houses going sideways, and that's exactly what Laura's got here. I think almost down to the inch. The only thing she hasn't got, and this is obviously only one for the regulars, is she doesn't seem to have one piece of fence slightly out of line. So therefore the whole design, no, the whole design is spoiled. Could we possibly speak to Game Rider Tom, please? But let's have a look at a slightly more completed design, because I didn't actually really finish mine off last week. I just got to put the frame in the way there. But it works, doesn't it? If you give these things nice gardens, put some bits of decorations in them. I think possibly she's got the gardens just a little bit too long on this side, but the principle works, the idea works, and just with a bit of variety in the different designs. It works really, really nicely, and then she's kind of polished off the design that I didn't finish there by finishing off the kind of cul-de-sac with a little fountain and a few flowers and things like that. She obviously hasn't finished the area back here, but I'm sure she will at some point. But the principle of those facing houses, not supposed to be in the game, but it does work really, really well. So let's head back to the town of the Adipose, because I want to talk to you tonight, as I'm sure you're aware, about about Squidport. There seems to be a few people complaining about the Twitch app. I've put a video about this on my channel. The Twitch app is okay, but it does muck up. You're far better going for one of the paid options, I'm afraid, to get a more reliable stream. The best one being, I will just quickly show you. The best one that I looked at, and you may know better, or you may have seen other options, is this Photon one. It's very, very highly regarded and reviewed in the App Store, but basically it allows you to watch Java videos, or is it Java videos? Flash videos on your iPad, and it works really, really nicely. It will cost you a bit of money, but not too much, and hopefully it means you won't have the problems that you guys are currently having. So there you go, a quick plug and a bit of a hand for that. Okay, so let's head back in. We're going to be talking about the Squidport. Now, as you remember, we intended to design the Squidport a long time ago. I think it was just before Christmas. I was like, yes, we will definitely design the Squidport. And you guys all went, yes, fantastic, we're going to design the Squidport. I'm very excited. And it came to the day, and all of a sudden, snow descended, and the whole ocean froze over, and the Squidport turned into this big kind of snowy mess, and it was a case of, right, so we're not doing the Squidport then. So here we are, a few short millennia later, and we are finally able to return to this Squidport. Now you'll see here, this is the problem with the Squidport, or the problem with Squidport designing, and is that it's very, very easy to kind of end up with something that like I've currently got here. Because obviously, as you know, I tend to like to kind of design my my stuff kind of during the video with you guys. But it's very, very easy. And going through my friends, I see quite a lot of this kind of stuff where you just make a big, long line of brown, and then you put your buildings on one side of it, and you go, great, it's done. And sometimes you put a bit of fence around it, or maybe a little bench or a chair or something like that. But it's almost like when I go around and I look at the Squidport designs, that all of the good things, all of the good habits you get into with the rest of your town, people seem to forget when they come to the Squidport. So as we've been doing these, we've been going house by house, and we've been going, right, what will make this house look good, giving its own little entranceway, giving its own little road. When we've been coming over here doing the casino, we've taken some good time and going, what do I feel for the casino, and putting something together. And yet, for some reason, when we get onto the Squidport, people just seem to get to the point of going, I'm just going to put one building next to the other and go, I'm done. Which is leading to some, to be blunt, some rather repetitive and uninspirational designs. Now, of course, one of the reasons for this is that we have very limited space on the Squidport. I mean, the big problem is the fact, like you can see here on mine, you have to generate one tile at a time, and although the first one comes, pretty quick, the later ones are very, very slow. And I think I was reading on one of the threads earlier. I can't remember which site. Sorry, you're welcome to kind of say which one it is. You're welcome to kind of say which one it is, but some of the later ones will actually take you 2 days or 3 days per tile. And I read somewhere that someone did the calculations, and if you don't speed any up with diamonds or anything like that, that to get to the maximum might even take you almost like a whole year of tapped out playing. And I know in some way, of course, what the designers are doing is they're trying to give you a kind of a long trying to give you a long experience, help to have you playing the game for a long time. But what it also means is what you also often end up doing with the Squidport is just going building after building after building after building, because you just haven't got room to do anything else. So I'm going to make a bit of a suggestion. So tip number one for tonight with your Squidport is going to be, let's not get all the buildings on there straight away. Let's go one building at a time. Let's put something. I mean, even if you can always build it. Go through that time process or actually building it, and then you can stick it back into your little box while you are designing everything else. Because the Squidports that I've been looking at, which I'm going to show you in a minute, the best ones are the ones that take the principles that we have from the rest of the town of going, right, this building looking good, this building looking good. Taking those principles and applying the same thing to the Squidport. Let's not rush through the Squidport and just cram loads of buildings in. Let's make those buildings kind of individual as much as possible, because obviously there are less decorations that we can use. I have got a bunch of tiles that we're going to be able to use today, and I think I've got 41, and I'm assuming you guys all know about the glitch. If not, I'll just quickly recap it. Basically, what you need is friends, okay? So if you haven't got friends, what you need to do is be likable, and once you are likable for a while, people will probably then, kind of add you as a friend, or maybe kind of have conversations with you, and maybe then you will start to interact, and after you've interacted for a while, you might then become buddies on Origin as well. But basically, there's a glitch. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. Look at that. You should be able to see that there's more than one hand on my Squidport, more than one little kind of handshake thing. And that's because, unlike other areas of the town, your friends can click on this more than once at reduced time. So although it would take me 2 days to get a tile, and then another 2 days to get a tile, and then another 2 days to get a tile, if someone clicks on my hand before I have a chance to do it, and then I think a few hours later, it might be half a day or even a day, or I'm not sure what it is, someone else can click on that. Someone can click on that as well, and then someone else can click on that as well. And watch this: if I click on just the top hand, I get a tile. So every time I click on one of those hands, I will still pick up another tile. So if you really want to get those tiles quickly, or quickly is probably the wrong phrase, but quicker, then what you need to be doing is getting together with some buddies and saying, look, if you're going to come into my town, especially now the gift card promotion is over, I really need you to click on my Squidport. And the trick, of course, from your point of view, is that you need to not take those last hands, or the last hand especially, because you need something for your friends to be able to kind of click on again. So always leave a couple there and wait for your friends to build up a little bit, and then just kind of take off the top ones. Now what I do as well is I tend to leave 2 hands there, if I remember, because if I leave 2 hands there, then it hopefully should remind my friends that they will be able to kind of click on they'll be able to click on it more than once. So, for example, if I stripped it down to 1, is there anything on my town I haven't clicked on yet? If I stripped it down to 1, it's just going to look like the normal pair of hands, and then everyone else might kind of go, oh, I'm not going to bother clicking on that because someone else already has. But if you leave 2 there, then hopefully your friends will kind of go, oh, can I click on that again? And then they will, and you'll be rolling in tiles. You'll be in your bed with tiles flowing all around you, and it'll be like that scene in Indecent Proposal all over again. So hopefully that'll help you get more tiles, and obviously tiles means you get more space to design, and if you've got more space to design, this means you can be more creative, and eventually the whole world becomes a better place because you had friends, because you were likable. Think it through. Alright, Shall we go look at some Squidports? Shall we go and check out some of our buddies? Looks like we're almost hitting 50 viewers tonight, which is fantastic. Lovely to see you all. Welcome to the Fat Cell. I think we almost hit 60 last week, or we did hit 60. Em, maybe you can remind us, but we were pretty close. I'm just going to have a quick drinky poo. Right, let's go and look at some awesome Squidports. I've kind of decided that tonight, or sorry, not tonight, but with the Squidport, I think there's enough here to do more than one live stream. Because like, if we're going to take this seriously and do kind of decent things with each building, there's no way we're going to be able to do it all in a night. Because if we did it all in one night, the design probably would be rushed. It would not have enough going on. So we're going to do it probably over a few live streams. I'm not sure. I don't think we'll do necessarily all sequential. You know, we'll kind of split it out a bit for the sake of variety. But we will of course be starting off by going to look at some lovely Squidport designs for us to kind of get started. The first one we're going to go and look at is Shannon. Now Shannon was someone I added when we were looking at Krusty Burger, and as I normally do on live stream days, I kind of go through my list of friends and I search for what I'm looking for to see if what I can find. And oh dear, RT Wang says that he's unlikable. Oh, it's okay. You can work on it. It's fine. Shelf Cleaner's talking about Ren and Stimpy. Shelf Cleaner, you idiot. And so on. But here we are. Yes, here we are in Shannon. Now, I wanted to start with Shannon because Shannon Squidport, I would say, is one of those designs that is it's a standard design. Now, I'll explain what I mean by that as we kind of go through. But it's just really good. So let's start from the beginning and just see how it kind of links in. First of all, she's kind of connected her Squidport nicely to a kind of pathway. Now, I would possibly suggest that's a slight error because, I think it was Wookie was teaching me. I think it was Wookie. It was someone a couple of weeks ago. Is if you want your Springfielders to walk regularly on your Squidport, then you need a piece of road right there on that connect. Sorry, as I'm pointing at it, but you can't see my finger. You need a piece of road right there to connect to the end of your Squidport, and if you have a bit of road there, you're far more likely to get your Springfielders onto the town. So I do think she's made one slight mistake. But then as we come on, we have got this lovely decorated and kind of put together area. We've got this lovely set apart fountain, as you can see there, which really makes it a nice kind of, you can imagine kind of people kind of walking around it, leaning up against the fence as people kind of do, and watching the water shooting into the air, maybe even chucking a couple of coins in to try and make some try and make some dosh. And then we've got a variation of kind of plants and things going around as well. But this is one of those. What I meant by standard earlier, what I was saying is that this is one of those designs that doesn't have like a particular kind of what's the phrase? Like a feature to it. Like it's not like, oh, this is unusual because of this, or it's like, oh, this is unusual because of this, or this is unusual because of this. It's not an unusual design. It's a very good design. Do you see do you see what I mean? Because later I'm going to show you ones which are slightly more unique and ones that you kind of go, oh, that's different. But this is one of those ones where you just got to go, this is a normal design, but it's a very good one. So I'll kind of take you through it. So it's thematic. There's no kind of randomness here. She's got this lovely little decoration here, and then we've got some little stalls, fried dough, hot dogs, lemonade, popcorn, all the kind of little food shops right together. And then next to it you've got some little tables, and you get that, don't you? When you go to like a fairground, they tend to have all the kind of little food bits together. Maybe these are kind of the little kind of temporary all the kind of little temporary kind of stalls and things like that. And then we kind of move on. We've got some kind of sushi. We've got the shops. Now, I was saying earlier, we want to kind of take each building kind of separately, and she hasn't. They are pretty much lined up. But what she has done, though, is added in little decorations to stop it just looking like, World of Brown. She's got kind of little green trees. We've got little Squidport benches. We've got bins. We've got parking meters. I don't know. We've got kind of flowers and things like that, but there's enough here to kind of keep the eye interested, to keep you looking at it and kind of going, That looks nice. I'd walk along that. I'd visit that. I'd like to kind of see that there. And then and then one of the things that I think is quite what you need to do in a city, and we've talked about this before, is you can't make every design really big and spectacular. So what she's done is that she's decided to make a feature out of a few buildings. And so what she's done is that she's decided with Planet Hype that this is going to be her feature building on the Squidport. This is going to be the one building that she's going to make, like ta-da! And she's really gone to town with the trees again. We've got the tables and chairs for people to eat. We've got the bin out the back, but just the way that it's placed as well. We've taken this idea of these are kind of my ordinary ones, and this is the masterpiece, the pièce résistance, and it works really really nicely, I think, to shine that one out. Let's have a look at what else she's got. First of all, let's not forget that she has got Squidport fences around the edges of her tiles. The fence really does make quite a difference to the edge of it. If you don't have fences around your edge, I think you need to go back and add it. You can have gaps in the fence, and we'll talk about why a little bit later, or maybe in a future stream. But you need those kind of fences in there. Now this is cool. We haven't touched 3D much in my live streams. We did have we attempted a little bit of 3D in the Buddhist temple, if you remember, and we did a teeny bit of 3D when we did the was it New Year? No, it was the Claus Code. Do you remember we had the river and we had the steps going up, which was a little bit 3D as well. But she's put a little kind of 3D tower in with the Lisa Simpson Statue of Liberty, kind of like type thing. Really really nice. Looks like a lovely tower. And actually, I've seen quite a few people use Lisa as kind of a statue out in the lake. But of course, it's a kind of a replication of kind of Liberty Island, and the idea that I suppose the statue really kind of isn't big enough. It needs to be more kind of like 8 times the size. But it works, doesn't it? It's like a little kind of tourist equivalent of Liberty Island. 3D, a little bit higher, some nice flowers around, and it works really nicely. And if you haven't tried a 3D design before, this is probably quite a simple and easy one to start with. Of course, the white would be premium, but you could probably do it again with brown, if that's an issue. Looks like some of you in the chat are saying that perhaps the parking meters are actually supposed to be telescopes. And obviously they're not telescopes, but of course, when we're designing, we can use one thing to represent another. And I agree. That's actually a really, if that's what they're supposed to be, that is a really really nice idea, because you often get them, don't you? You have to put a little bit of money in the slot, and then you get to look at some empty sea for about 30 seconds before going, I can't see anything, and then the slot closes again, and you really can't see anything. But that is quite cool. So maybe we all have to kind of rip that off. Game Rider Tom, if you could possibly stop moaning about not being featured or not, that would be great. I've said many times that if people want to get featured on my streams, then they need to go to tappedout.co.uk or my threads on the topics, and you need to post your designs, and if I like your designs, then I will contact you. Spamming my chat and spamming my friends' invites is just going to get you kicked from the channel. So have a nice day. Then if we come on down, we can see we've got a bit of a kind of a party atmosphere here. We've got some balloons, and we've got some cars, and we've got some freak show. But I think what we've kind of put together here is like a little circus. I'm a big fan of kind of having a little kind of idea in your head, and kind of trying to tell a story. And I've said this loads of times in the live streams, and I'm going to carry on because I like it. But I like to look down at the design and kind of go, I can see what's going on here. I see the design. I see the tale that's being told, and in this case the tale is it's a circus on the pier, and we've got these the fairground wheels, we've got the freak show, we've got a big float, the balloons. This is the party side where we're going to have a nice time before we in the evening, maybe a little stroll along a date and so on. And then we carry on down. We have a little divider. Now, I think this divider is important. I'm going to come back to this in a bit, because we've got a division here between the fun side of the Squidport, all the shops and things like that, and a harbour, docks, boats. And I think this is where the timing of the level 38 update is so fantastic, because now with those extra boats, I think it's the kind of the speedboat and the Greenpeace boat, the submarine, the Mary Celeste type boat, and of course the captain's boat that originally comes with it. I think it really gives us the option now of dividing our Squidport into a few different sections. We can have the fun bit, the commercial bit, and a dock, a harbour, because it's a squid port, isn't it? And think about what is a port. A port is where boats come in and so on. I think what we need to do in our designs, especially, and this is one of the lovely things about dividing the design of the squid port up into a few different live streams, is we can say, well, let's divide two different things. Let's design a fun squid port on one side, and let's design a harbour and stuff, harbour and docks on the other side. And you can see it's a lovely, simple design, but very, very effective. Just little strips coming out every so often, just like you get in real life, where the boats come up and they moor, and you need time to it. Works really, really nicely, and it's definitely something that we're going to rip off slash steal for our own. Corky says, tap on the night boat. Oh, that's cool. They get a little animation on the boat. Very, very nice. I like that. Did any of the others animate? Does the submarine? No, submarine just looks at me. This boat? No. Greenpeace boat? No. Okay, just this one then. Alright. And then down here we've got I think it's kind of like a refueling bit for the boats, which works, I suppose. The boat kind of moors up and gets some fuel and stuff, and it works. It works really nicely, so that's pretty cool. So thank you very much to Shannon. I hope that has given you some ideas for how to kind of start your Squidport off with a kind of standard design as well. Now, one of the things I like to show you when we do live streams is big designs and small designs. And the chances are, if you've only just reached a high level in Simpsons, or you haven't been playing all that long, that you won't have nearly enough tiles to do that. And so you might be the case where you've kind of got, I don't know, 20 tiles, 30 tiles, and in total, and there's no way you're going to be able to put something that good together. Don't worry, I feel your pain. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a design that's a lot smaller. Like I do normally in the other videos, sometimes I'll show you a huge Buddhist temple, and then I'll show you a small Buddhist temple in case you haven't got much room and you want to kind of just put something together. So we're coming over to Becca Lakes City, and again she's got she's got like a little kind of a standard design. There's nothing particularly different about it. But what we have got here is a design which is... have I come to the wrong place? No, I haven't. What we have got here is a design which is far smaller. This isn't stretching, all the way down, because she's got a bit of a harbour going on as well. She's actually got a bit of a dock. But if we just focus on the area here immediately around the Squidport, she's kind of compacted a lot of it into a very small kind of area. And yeah, I would say there's probably 30 to 40 tiles there. In total, but we can see she's got just kind of compacted it very much in. She's put a few things around, but she's remembered to put the odd little decorations here or there. We've got a cigarette machine, we've got a tree, we've got a couple of chairs and tables, refueling for the boat. She's squeezed quite a lot there in. She's squeezed quite a lot there into her kind of opening design, into a small space in the design. Even getting things like the fountains in the middle. The Squidport is on the sea, so why not let's have more water. So if you're looking to do it if you're looking to do a smaller version, try something like this. Now, one thing I have seen quite a lot of in Squidport designs is a set of dodgems. And you might have one, you may have seen one, but that broken dodgem car we got from something to do with Nelson a couple of months ago is a bit of a pointless design if you use it as a broken object, but you can quite happily turn it into a little dodgem ride, especially on the Squidport. Get some fences on there, stick some dodgems in, make sure you've got a bit of an area around it, and you've got a fairground route, and you can put that really nicely next to the big wheel, or you can put it next to the the freak show or something like that, and it just kind of makes this lovely kind of circus atmosphere. You can make this kind of circus atmosphere very, very nicely, very, very easily. And so there's a nice little more compact design for those of you looking to go a little bit more you know, small in your design. Now let's show you something a little bit different, shall we? Let's go for something a little bit more unusual. I'd like to show you. What should we go for? Because I want to spread the Squidport out over a few weeks, so I don't want to kind of use all of my favourite designs straight away. Tell you what, let's head over to Rugman420, who I've shown a few times in the live streams and on my videos on YouTube. Let me just grab some stuff. Water. Let's head over to Mr. 420. There we are, Rugman. Because I seem to remember that he had some very nice decorations and a very nice harbour. And as it loads, I shall snaffle myself some chocolate. It's very nice. I like the chocolate. Yeah, here we go. Another version of the harbour. This one with a bit more detail to it. So again, we've still got that idea of division. Here's all the fun stuff. Some lovely use of the lampposts, the benches, a fountain there again. Perhaps the shops are a little bit just lined up again, but okay. Double big wheel. I didn't know you could actually have more than one big wheel, but I've seen quite a few people have them now, and some people actually have them either side of the Squidport entrance, almost like some sort of kind of entryway. And yeah, I mean, it carries on this kind of bench theme. But then, like we saw on the other one, there's all of a sudden a divide. There's the all of the fun stuff down on one side, and then we've got this kind of harbour over here. And this time we've got a bit more detail on there, because we've got each harbour slot has its own benches, has its own lamppost, and has its own fuel. Possibly the only thing we could maybe add would be some sort of like pay meter for them who's got to sit there to pay per hour. But you can, it works really, really nicely, and it's a simple design as well. This isn't going to take you hours and hours of design to put this kind of idea together of a kind of a dock. You're just going to need to sling together a few little strips of Squidport. Choose the designs that will make it work for you, and it just looks good. It just looks good. We've got another little Statue of Liberty there. Someone's told me to, if I find a Lady Justice statue, tap it. Is that? Or is it the new one? Okay, it might be the new one. Okay, and then of course we've got the kind of Mary Celeste stuff over here. But I really like this harbour idea. So we'll be doing some more with it. Who else shall I show you? I like storytelling. Everyone seems to be still talking about my little fallen over adpose. He's just having a little nap. He's just having a nap. I've confused myself now with whose town I was going to show you. Maybe it was Corkhoppers. Let's check out Corkhoppers. I've made my notes, and then earlier we had our... I'm just going to give you a bit of addy gossip. We had our house valued earlier today, because we're thinking about moving, because obviously, as you are probably aware, there is a mini pose on the way, and... Our house is very, very cool. It's lovely. It's a perfect size for kind of 2.5 people. Soon we will be 3. So we had our house valued today, and to kind of see how much it's kind of worth, and then to think about kind of moving on and things like that. But we obviously I got a bit distracted then when I was kind of looking for all the designs I was going to show off today. I kind of started noting them down, and then all of a sudden, estate agents and things started happening, so I kind of didn't quite finish it off. So I apologise. But here we go. Let's take this idea of a harbour kind of a little bit further, because sometimes these kind of rich houses have like their own private boats, don't they? And what Corkhopper has done here is he's got his main Squidport, where as we might expect, we've got the standard shops, fountains, and nice places for us to enjoy. But then he's over here. What he's done is he's kind of put together some little kind of mini islands. He's put together some kind of little kind of sections where the kind of richer members of his Springfield might go to have a good time. He's kind of then nicely linked it up with the beach there. You've got the deck chairs on the beach, and then the deck chairs out here on these little kind of little jetties. I think jetties is a good word. Let's say that together. jetty, and they're all kind of come out here. You can kind of picture these kind of people, well-off people there with their speedboats rowing over the speedboats going over there, and the slightly poorer people rowing over, and they kind of come on. They maybe refuel, they lounge out in the sun, play billiards or something like that. I don't know, but it works really nicely. It doesn't all have to be a harbour. Doesn't necessarily have to mean. Those kind of strips. You can do it a different way, especially with the kind of little islands. I really like the way that the Mary Celeste has been put here as a kind of a military idea. It's put on the end, almost like a kind of museum, which is something I'd like to do with it in my design. I'd like to kind of use that boat not as like a working boat, but like something as people. Something that people kind of go and visit and kind of check out for kind of historical reasons. And you can see here, earlier I was saying about using gaps in the fence. What a lot of people have done with this idea of boats is they've had the kind of gone fence, and then where there's a boat, they take the fence away, so it kind of looks like that's the place where those boats will kind of moor up and. Oh, there's another little Statue of Liberty there. People love putting the Statue of Liberty out in the middle of their out in the middle of the city. There's another little big wheel going away, and another kind of version of Planet Hype. And of course, we've got the new Greenpeace boats here as well. Slightly forced perspective on them, I think. I think that the front of the boat is a little bit too big compared to the back. It ends up looking like some sort of kind of large clog. It probably is the Mayflower our twang, but I call it the Mary Celeste because. I'm English, and that's what we do. That is what we do. Now, another person that's got a really cool little harbour is Magnificent, who I have featured quite a few times before, because her city is beautiful. We shall go and check it out again because she's done some very, very cool stuff here. Everyone's just chatting about knowledge to you here about how to design your town and make it the most beautiful Squidport that the world has ever seen. And all you are talking about is a small, squishy stress toy that has fallen over. Okay, a few things I'd like to point out to you here. First of all, we've got a beautifully designed entertainment area over here, and we'll come back and look at that another time because there's a lot to see there. But here we go. You've got some different variations on the harbour here. Have a look at this. We've got the submarine. I think this is like a little military post. I think we've got this lovely little the submarine there, which obviously was a time limited item, and if you've got one, it's a brilliant thing to go do some fun with. And look at the cannons. We've got a little 3D sculpture with a channel 6 antennae kind of going around and some cannons pointing out to sea. And I like to think this is the Springfield. This is the Springfield defence. Do you know what I mean? This is like, if we ever get invaded from the sea, it is this that shall protect us from the advance of the evil. I don't know, which country should we pick on today? New Zealanders. If the New Zealanders, were coming our way with their little ships and the whole like type stuff from rugby, then it would be these cannons, the submarine, and of course the fireworks. Don't forget the fireworks. That would be our last line of defence. Works nicely, and you can see that old Jasper here is keeping the cannons in top working order, just in case they are required. Now, this might sound like a stupid thing. But when I was thinking of my designs, I was putting the boats next to things. Do you know what I mean? Like I was like, well, here's a harbour and here's a boat, or why don't I put the harbour kind of around the boat, or something like that. But then I came to this design and I was like, well, what Magnificent's actually done here is she's just kind of gone, well, you know what, it's water, and of course the water's going to have boats in it, so why don't I put the boats actually away from the Squidport and just make it look like this is kind of a busy area, that there are boats kind of floating around my Squidport, or floating around my sea, so leaving the Squidport aside and just having some boats kind of driving around, kind of like you have in your town all the time. All the time in your town you have people walking around, it looks alive, characters walking across and little chickens going back, 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 and little monsters wandering around and zombies, all that kind of stuff. But the city looks alive. And then you come over here to the kind of the ocean area, and it's just like, nothing happens. So putting some kind of boats in there, obviously the entertainers on Squidport do make a difference, but So putting some boats kind of just dotted around in the ocean areas in kind of inappropriate locations, I think is a good idea. And I think when we finalise our design, I am going to kind of put some boats as part of my harbour. But then I might put one or two kind of heading away, or one or two heading to. Do you know what I mean? So to make it look like there's a story going on here. The boat is arriving, or the boat is leaving, or there's kind of movement going on. So I like that idea. We're going to use it. It's a good idea. Then of course we've got the Mayflower, if you prefer. And then if you come down here, I like this as well. This is a really cool idea. This is like your again, we've got some more boats, just kind of sailing around. This is kind of like a little private posh person's retreat. It's a cool idea. We've got this little jetty where the boat can land with some Squidport benches, and then this door, a door on an island, which you have to go. Obviously, the owner would have the key, and then he can go in and lounge around there with his own private cigarette machine, and golden statues. I kind of envisioning some sort of like Man with the Golden Gun, James Bond villain. This is like, hello, why didn't you come and join me on my little Squidport retreat, or something, or something like that, which would be cool. Right, so let's head back to my Squidport, because we're coming into land now. We've got 10 minutes left, and start putting some of these designs into action. So in case you've missed various things because of your streams dropping, we're going to divide the Squidport into sections. We're not going to design the whole thing in one night. There's too much to do. So today let's look at the harbour. All right, today let's look at putting some cool designs around the boat. And I do not rant. I teach. I inform. I educate. I improve. I do not rant. Anyway, so let's get some pieces of the Squidport, and let's start putting together a harbour. Now, I think my harbour needs to kind of come down the side. I need a kind of a walkway, which is going to kind of go next to my boats, if you see what I mean. So it needs to kind of come along down here. And then I do think that probably the best design, or the simplest design, is going to be to have something that kind of comes out and round a boat like that. Now you could make the slots double side. I think that would be a double boxed. I think that would be a nice alternative. And of course, you could make the harbour vertical rather than horizontal. Mine are kind of coming out. But I think what I might try and do to keep mine looking a little bit different is, if I muck that up, is kind of like a double-pronged harbour, because you often find, I don't know about you, but when I go to a harbour or a kind of a dock, you don't just have like one little strip for the boats. You have several, and they're quite close. And when the boats come in, they have to try and navigate their way in through some reasonably tight spots, don't they? So what I'm thinking I might do here is have kind of one set of prongs like that for some boats, and then another set of prongs, if I can get one. Might need to move these down a little bit. Down we come. And then another kind of set of prongs over here. And I'm probably going to run out of Squidport pieces, despite my advice earlier about getting people to tap on it. So damn it, people, you need to tap on my stuff more. Now we can kind of sneak the submarine in here by kind of putting on a. We can kind of make it look like an extra design there. So it kind of looks like the boats can kind of come in here and kind of park up and things like that, and the same one here. Now the other thing you can do with designs like this is that that was Mrs. Pose walking behind me. She is not dead. The other thing we can do with designs like this is that when you have a whole row of something, you can have things that are there and you can have things that are not there, and the design still works. And I can show you what I mean right here using these boats as an example. Quite clearly, what you can see here is you can see three spaces for boats. How do you know there's three spaces for boats? Because two of those spaces have boats in, and you actually don't need the third boat in there to show you that this is a place where boats would go. If you see what I'm saying, so like you don't. So what would be boring would be to have loads and loads of the same boat. If you have like too many of those Knight Rider boats or too many Greenpeace boats, your eye is going to tell you, oh, this is just a design, because you see loads of the same. But if you do something like this, and deliberately kind of put spaces in there where other imaginary boats would be, you can kind of get away with using less boats in the design, but still get exactly the same effect. Does that make sense? So we can deliberately kind of put the gaps in, and then we could possibly kind of fiddle with the eye a little bit here. Like we could put this boat all the way in, reversed like that, properly in, or maybe we could go for a kind of a bit more of an action shot. It's on its way out. Chug 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 chug. So even by kind of putting it on its way, will still kind of complete that kind of illusion of movement or life in the design quite nicely. Sorry. There's going to be loads of different ways of doing a harbour, and what I'll be looking for during the week, and if you'd like to be featured next week, I will be looking for harbours and docks. If you want to show me some more of them on the various websites, I'll be interested in seeing them, and I'll be interested in featuring you. Because I'm going for kind of like a pronged three. I'm going for like a kind of prongs approach. But there are other ways of kind of doing it as well. So why don't we grab ourselves one of those new little night boats, because I think that's going to look very, very cool in one of these little spaces. We could kind of squeeze it all the way up there. We'll spend 40 donuts. There we go. Donuts. We're spending donuts there. Is someone squaring? I think I've missed what happened there. Something happened in the chat, not sure what it is, but thank you mods, whatever, for dealing with it, with whatever the issue was. And then we can do what we saw the others do. We can just kind of start to ask our questions about, so what would a dock have? What would a harbour have to kind of make these look like real places where the docks would be? Obviously, we could use the parking meter idea, as they kind of come in. So we could put one in each of these little locations right there in the middle spot to make it look like, so you parked your boat here, that's going to be at least £70 an hour, accountant, type thing. And obviously you can say that in a wonderfully authentic accent or otherwise. Obviously the submarine needs one as well, because there's always a problem with people parking their submarines where they shouldn't. What else did we see when we were kind of going around? We saw some phone booths. I'm not quite so sure we need them. This isn't really kind of a bench type idea, but what we can do, of course, is we can emphasise the entrances to the boats by fencing up the other areas. So, for example, if we fence up around here, it'll show off the areas a little bit more where people will be getting on and off the boats, and again, it'll make it look a lot more kind of harbouring, I think. So basically, everywhere where the people can get on and off, let's not put the fence there, and anywhere where people won't be getting on and off there, let's put the fence on there, because obviously they'll need the kind of safety for that. So I won't do the whole thing, because obviously you didn't probably log on for your Saturday nights to see a man placing a fence for half an hour. But if I just quickly just do a few kind of rims like that, and before someone thinks I'm making a rude joke, no, I'm not. If I just kind of put in a few edges like that, you can see that it kind of then shows off the other area a bit more. I mean, you could even consider fencing up one side of each strip to kind of show which is the side where they kind of come on and off. So, for example, if I was to put a fence, I might not keep this, or I might get rid of this, but if I was to put a fence here-ish, it would show that everyone kind of gets off the boat downwards, if that makes sense, or to the probably port or starboard or something else kind of authentically boat-like. And it would also, if you see what I'm saying, so I won't bother finishing off that fence there, but you can see, so clearly that boat would get off the fence that way, and then if there was a boat there, they would get off that way. So again, you're telling little stories, you're kind of showing how it kind of works from kind of one area to the other. If you want to chuck me out some suggestions for other things I should kind of put, other things I'm going to kind of put in here, it'd be great. I think some lampposts are kind of good, because they often kind of show, we can use the lamppost kind of as if it's a almost kind of a lighthouse in a way, guiding these beautiful sailors to their destinations. I've carefully put that one in the wrong place by accident, so if Kay is still here, I'm sure that will be kicking off her antennae as we speak. He's put the lamppost in the wrong place. All of the others are in the middle, but that other lamppost, it's off to the side. Oh my god. What else can I grab? Probably not a fountain, and probably not a juggler. Benches, maybe we can kind of use them to kind of to decorate in some way. I mean, we could even use a barrier to try and put some kind of safety stuff. I mean, one of the things I was thinking about doing next week is actually putting a place where maybe the Squidport's broken, remove a random tile and put some kind of hazard stuff around it, and I've just accidentally put more lampposts there. I've completely forgotten what else we saw on the, what else we saw there. Gas pumps obviously would be quite good, because that, and then people can refuel their boats. So let's kind of put one on the edge, and we'll try and get them in line, because then it'll give it a nice uniform look. I don't think you always need to put things exactly uniform, and I think often designs are better if you don't, but there are certain things which you would, and I think in a design like this, where we're putting together a harbour, you want to have that uniformity. I'm not entirely sure there what I'm going to do with that submarine, because it's thicker than the rest. I can't kind of fit it into the same area. So for the sake of uniformity, I might swap that out for one of the other boats a bit later on. Haven't quite decided, or I might leave it. Some of you are suggesting garbage bins. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I mean, even things like the weather station. I don't know if it goes on the Squidport, because that's the other thing, is not all decorations will go here. Will good old rabbit hedge? No, the rabbit hedge will not go. But yes, I suppose people do want bins, because obviously if they've been on a long boat journey, they'll have trash, they'll have rubbish, they'll have things that they want to kind of stick on there. Down. The trash bins were the other way. I can't see them. Ooh, now do we want to go dumpsters or trash cans? Well, there's still garbage bins as well. Do they work? I always think these garbage bins just look like they should be inside. But they might work with this design, actually. If I put them, say, next to the refueling stop. Again, to give it that kind of uniform, and kind of almost like to give it a kind of utility. This is a useful place for people to put their boats. Does that let me put the bin in the water? Oh, it's because the Greenpeace one is actually, there's something wrong with the animation there, isn't it, on the Greenpeace one? It's got a really big kind of overlap, and it's got a really big kind of overlap, and the water is actually spilling out over onto the Squidport. Tell you what, stop signs would be quite cool. One thing you could do with the stop signs is that you could put you could move the parking meter to the side, and then you could put the stop sign right at the end to show where you need to stop the boat, so you don't kind of crash into something. So if I just grab one, that would probably look something like. Let's get these out of the way. So you could put the parking meter next to that, and then you could put the and that's going to do that thing. And you could put the stop sign there like that to show that they need to stop the boat. I think I need to move the parking meter over one. It's getting lost a little bit next to the gas. And of course now it's selecting everything else in the world except the thing I want. There we go. So maybe something like that. Yeah, I quite like that. That is pretty cool. Lawn chairs, I think, will work in a kind of more. I don't think that's part of my harbour, but I do think it's a nice idea. So there we go. That's how we will start. I will finish off that design in the morning and kind of complete my harbour. But I hope I have inspired you to really start thinking about your Squidports, especially the boat areas as well. And if you come up with some good designs, show me on one of the websites I frequent, tappedout.co.uk, Tapped Out Forum. Addicts topics, any of the others, you can show me your stuff there, and I'll take a little gander. Hope you've enjoyed this kind of little introduction to the Squidport. We have much more to do, and we will be focusing on it again. I do hope you've had a nice time this evening, and I'll stick around in the chat for a little bit afterwards, gossiping. I might even be on again a little bit later if I'm fancying a bit of strumming and guitaring, so I might do a bit of rocksmith, but obviously that will be a very different kind of show if you'd be interested in seeing that. Thanks to all the mods, thanks to everyone that came. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye. And I still have chocolate.